new at 6, the U.S. Postal Service under scrutiny again, this time for failures that give thieves free access to your mail. Right now, your personal information could be in the hands of criminals who are running an underground operation, making millions of dollars each month. Yes, you could be a victim and have no idea until the damage is already done. In tonight's 10 Investigates, I uncover that little is being done to stop it.
On a chilly October day, our visit caught Nolan Logan by surprise.
I'm flabbergasted. It's going to take me a minute to process this.
His check to Columbia Gas cashed, not in his bank account, but on the dark web.
I already lost my respect for the postal system. This don't help their case out none whatsoever.
The Postal Service becoming a breeding ground for what experts are calling a sophisticated underground criminal operation.
We're talking about hundreds of individuals who are involved in this kind of crime at this point in our country.
It's a problem not only impacting Ohio, but cities nationwide.
How much were they able to get you for, Ed?
Ballpark approaching 10,000.
Thieves stealing mail, specifically checks, and selling them using popular apps, oftentimes right from their phones. David Myman is director of the evidence-based cybersecurity research group at Georgia State University. He and his team of researchers spend hours combing through thousands of social media channels, group chats, and dark websites, investigating crime trends involving identity theft and stolen checks, which he says has increased dramatically.
I definitely believe that this is a crisis, and if we're not attending to it soon, it will be too late to address it.
Myman warns that figure likely only represents a small fraction of the actual number of checks being stolen and sold, racking in big bucks for the thieves.
Our conservative estimates lead us to believe that between $18 to $33 million every month ends up in the criminal's hands.
The lucrative scheme involves several steps, from stealing and selling mailbox keys and then emptying mailboxes to chemically washing the stolen checks, stripping away the intended payee's name before cashing them or selling them online for hundreds of dollars, using apps and websites.
Is this unregulated? Can they do this?
Nobody tells them that they can do that. Nobody at the end of the day monitor those platforms, and so folks can do whatever they want on them.
And to make matters worse, the group that once took the lead in these types of thefts no longer does, at the direction of the Postal Inspection Service.
Is our mail safe right now?
Right now in Ohio, your mail is in jeopardy.
Frank Albergo represents the Postal Police Officers Association. He says the post office basically pulled its officers from the streets. Now their jurisdiction is limited to mail facilities unless granted special permission.
You would be hard-pressed to find a coherent response from the Postal Service why they benched their postal police force.
Albergo says with no real deterrent, the problem will likely only get worse.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Something needs to be done.
And that brings us back to Nolan Logan. That check to Columbia Gas was put inside one of the compromised collection bins outside the Bexley post office just 4 days before police issued an alert. His check was one of nearly a dozen we got our hands on. Thanks to our visit, Logan was able to stop payment on the check before it could be washed and used.
I appreciate your time and for you to bring this to my attention.
Now, we reached out several times to the Postal Service requesting statistics on efforts to protect your mail, but we were sent on an email trail that led us to no real answers from the agencies. However, lawmakers also had questions, and they haven't been able to get any concrete answers. In fact, several of them, including Ohio Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman, have written the Postmaster General and Inspector General. Yolanda, to no avail tonight. They are still waiting for a response.
All right, Andrew, any idea how bad this problem is?
According to an audit done by the Inspector General for the U.S. Postal Service back in 2021, just last year, mail theft complaints increased by 161% from March of 2020 to February of 2021. And take a look at your screen here. Even more alarming were findings in a 2020 report by the Inspector General. The exact number of arrow keys in circulation lost, stolen, or broken nationwide is unknown. Those arrow keys allow you access to those big blue mailboxes. However, there's an estimate out from the Postal Service that those numbers could be in the millions.
All right, so what can we do to avoid falling victim?
Great question, Yolanda. Several things to consider here. Let's take a look at the list here. 1, avoid using those big blue mailboxes. Instead, go inside, drop your mail off, hand it to a human. Also, use a gel ink pen. Certain types of ink, such as gel, cannot be washed off of those checks. Also, go electric. Use online bill pay when possible. And of course, monitor your bank accounts and your statements. If you see an amount that's too high, that you know you didn't write, you're likely a victim.
And once you figure it out online, so much easier. You don't have to worry about it. So good advice. All right, well, do you have an issue you want our 10 Investigates team to look into? If so, we want to hear from you. Email us at 10investigates@10tv.com.